All right, Knicks fans, I need you to sit down for this one because I am genuinely frustrated right now, and I think a lot of you will feel exactly the same way by the time this video is over. So before we get into it, do me a favor, smash that like button right now, because this channel only grows when you show up for it, and I promise you this story is worth your full attention. So here's what happened. New York went out and put together an offer sheet for restricted free agent big man Cisse, a 23-year-old center who has quietly become one of the more exciting rim protectors in the entire league. This wasn't some throwaway offer either. 2 years for $0.7 million. Smart, team-friendly. Exactly the kind of move a front office should be praised for. And it worked, at least on paper. Cisse signed it. For a brief moment, Knicks fans had reason to be excited about the front court again. Then Dallas ruined it. On Saturday, the Mavericks matched the offer sheet and kept Cisse right where he was. Just like that, the door slammed shut. And look, I get it. That's how restricted free agency works. Dallas has every right to match. But that doesn't mean it doesn't sting. It doesn't mean we have to sit here and act like this was some acceptable outcome. This front office identified a legitimate target, structured a smart deal, and still walked away with nothing. Again, if you're new here, hit subscribe, because we break down every single Knicks roster move as it happens. And trust me, there's a lot more coming this offseason. Now here's what really gets me. The breakdown of this contract tells you everything about how calculated New York's front office was. Year 1 comes in around $2.2 million, only half of it guaranteed. Year 2, about $2.5 million, not guaranteed at all. This wasn't reckless spending. This was a disciplined, well-structured offer sheet for a young player still on the rise. And league analysts noticed. Cap experts and NBA insiders were calling a savvy, under-the-radar move. People were genuinely impressed the front office found this kind of value in restricted free agency. And Dallas just erased it with one signature. Drop a comment below and tell me honestly, are you frustrated with how this front office keeps getting so close on these under-the-radar targets and still comes up empty? I want to hear it, good or bad, because this is exactly the kind of conversation this channel exists for. Here's the part that stings even more. The second Dallas matched, this door didn't just close, it locked. According to cap experts monitoring the situation, New York cannot now turn around and trade for Cisse. There's no workaround, no side deal, none of that. The only exception on the table would be if Dallas outright waived him. And even then, there are restrictions, because a team that matches an offer sheet is not allowed to trade that player for a full year, and specifically cannot send him to the team that originally tried to sign him. So even in the unlikely event Dallas moves on from Cisse, New York is legally blocked from being the team that benefits. Let that sink in for a second. We identified the guy. We made the smart offer. We did everything right. And now, by rule, we are the one team in the entire league that is not allowed to have him, even if Dallas decides they don't want him anymore. That's not just bad luck. That's a gut punch. If this is frustrating you as much as it's frustrating me, like this video right now, it genuinely helps push this content out to more Knicks fans who need to see it. Now, is there still a sliver of hope here? Technically, yes, and I want to be fair about that. Dallas currently has 16 players on standard contracts, and Cisse is the only one of them without a fully guaranteed salary for next season. That matters, because it means Dallas still has a roster decision to make before opening night. Reporting out of the organization says half of his salary stays locked in if he's waived before September 1st, with the rest becoming guaranteed on October 1st. So there is technically a runway here, even if it's a narrow one. But before anybody gets their hopes up, respected NBA insiders have been very clear that it is way too early to assume Dallas is moving on from this kid. One insider pointed out that if this were the middle of September, maybe even mid-August, you could start reading into a logjam at center. Right now, though, Dallas is still actively working the trademark on other frontcourt pieces, still fielding calls, still shaping this roster. There's also been chatter that Dallas would rather trade a veteran than simply release him outright. In other words, this roster is still very much in motion, and reading too much into it right now would be jumping the gun. So realistically, folks, I have to be honest with you. This path for the Knicks isn't dead, but it has gone from plausible to genuinely unlikely. And that's a hard pill to swallow after how close we came. Comment below with what you think Dallas actually does here, because I want a real discussion and replies, not just people agreeing with me. Tell me if you think this door reopens, or if we should just move on completely. Because here's the bigger picture, and this is the part that really frustrates me as a fan. This wasn't the Knicks' first swing at solving the backup center problem this offseason. This need became urgent the moment Ariel Hukporti left in free agency and signed with Philadelphia. Once that happened, New York went to work looking for a young, developing big man to fill that void. Before ever circling back to Cisse, this front office reportedly explored trade scenarios for other centers around the league, checking in on bigs from New Orleans and Charlotte. None of those talks turned into anything. Then they pivoted to restricted free agency, found Cisse, made a smart, disciplined offer, and got matched anyway. So think about that. 3 different paths. 3 attempts to solve one specific need. And as of right now, 0 results. That's not incompetence. To be clear, this front office has actually made some sharp, well-evaluated targets this summer. But it is undeniably frustrating to watch good asset evaluation keep running into bad outcomes. If you made it this far in the video, I need you to do 2 things for me. First, drop a comment telling me who you think the Knicks should target next at backup center, because this need is not going away just because this deal fell through. Second, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we are going to be tracking every single move this front office makes for the rest of the offseason, and you do not want to miss the next update. Look, I love this team, and that's exactly why this stings. We keep doing the right things, smart contracts, disciplined offers, good targets. And we keep walking away with nothing to show for it. Dallas made the right business decision for their own team. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But as a Knicks fan, watching this happen in real time is genuinely maddening. Let me know in the comments if you agree, or if you think I'm being too harsh on the front office here. Like this video if you want more honest, no-filter breakdowns like this one. And subscribe, because the backup center search is not over, and I will be right here covering every twist as it happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.